So as you all know, I've got a small workshop. So today I'm making a pretty large workbench with a pretty small footprint.
Okay, so the main purpose of this workbench is so I can laminate large boards together for dining tables. I'm simply just using construction timber here. If you want to use it as a conventional workbench, then you'd obviously have to have a top with it, which you could always just slide up against your workshop wall. So I'm using roofing screws to assemble the main pieces together. These are just like miniature coach bolts and they have a rubber grommet attached to them as well. And I thought it would be a good idea to attach whatever leftover wood I have to the sides as support braces. Then I went ahead and made a second one. This workbench works off using butt hinges, so I needed something for the hinges to attach to, and there needed to be enough clearance for them to open and close, so I'm just using some pine boards that I had to rip down to make them a little less wide. So glue alone would have been fine for this, considering it's long grain to long grain, but I was kind of short for time, so I didn't have long enough brad nails, so I'm just using Craig screws, which I can remove later on when the glue dries.
So now we have two symmetrical pieces and we can work on the hinged mechanism so we can bring these two together.
I needed quite a few of these hinges, so I just grabbed the cheapest ones available. I think they were about $1.50 each. They had fancier ones, but honestly, these are fine. I was able to wedge the extension arms into the frame we made earlier, so lining up the brackets were pretty easy.
Okay, so I kind of learned the hard way that this probably isn't the best way of doing it. I made this piece and I made that piece, and now I'm trying to put them together in the middle, which really isn't going to work out. So I'm going to try and put the hinge on this side, then connect it the best I can to here. There's a little bit of play in this just because of the length of the timber, so at least that'll work in my favor. It doesn't have to be exactly rigid, so a little bit of movement in the timber is actually going to be favorable to this project.
This took quite a lot of fiddling around, but then I remembered it really doesn't have to be perfectly straight. As long as it opens and closes, it's just a workbench after all. And I used a strap hinge because I ran out of regular ones and I was lucky enough to find these in my shop. This is a super cheap workbench build, but unfortunately the wheels are quite expensive. They ran in about half of my total cost, so if you can find some cheap wheels from somewhere or from an old office chair, that'll be really great because these are not cheap, which sucks. And this is the final product. You know, I have some timber underneath that workbench behind it, so I need to laminate those together, and this is a perfect solution for me because I can just fold it up and store it away. So thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.